is Valley News Live at 4.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Stacey Van Dyke. We'll start today with our top 4 at 4. A man was rushed to the hospital with serious injuries after the delivery van he was driving was hit by a train near Grand Forks. That happened just after 11:30 this morning at the intersection of 54th Avenue and North Washington Street. That's about 2 miles north of town. The truck was hit by a BNSF train and pushed down the tracks. Highway Patrol says the driver, a 42-year-old man from Thief River Falls, was not wearing his seatbelt and was taken by ambulance. No one on the train was hurt. 2 men are in the Cass County Jail after a drug investigation uncovered almost 10 pounds of meth at a West Fargo motel. The Cass County Drug Task Force and local DEA agents received a tip about a possible drug operation at the Roadway Inn. Officers obtained a search warrant and found Maynard Silas Lopez and Alejandro Corina Reyes, both of Los Angeles, inside a room with approximately 9.5 pounds of meth. The 2 were arrested for possible charges of conspiracy to possess with intent to distribute a controlled substance. A wild ride on a snowmobile ended up with some major damage to a home in Pelican Rapids, and it was all caught on camera. Take a look at this. A snowmobiler realized the sled was going to crash and jumped off to try and avoid it. He didn't have a tether, so the snowmobile kept going, speeding through a garage door. Valley News Team's JC Dodd spoke to the homeowner. You can see that exclusive story tonight on Valley News Live at 6. And it's been another rough go at it on the roads pretty much all day today. Snow flying all across the valley, reducing visibility, and now brutally cold temperatures are pushing in. Meteorologist Nathan Hopper joins us now with a first look. Nathan?
Yeah, thanks, Stacey. We've got 5 first alert weather days that are ahead of us here this week because of a long stretch of Arctic cold temperatures, and it begins after the snowfall we're seeing right now. And let's take a look at this. Our Grand Forks home of economy Skycam. Looks like the snowfall has actually ended in Grand Forks. It was snowing there about 30 minutes ago, but we are seeing most of that snowfall now moving into our Minnesota counties and cold air moving in behind it. So of course, here's some of the big winners from snowfall. This is as of about 3 p.m. We got some reports in. East Grand Forks, latest report we have from there is about 5.5 inches, but Wadena 8 inches, 7 inches measured there in the Shevlin area, then 6.5 inches in Leonard, Minnesota. Mahnomen right about 6 inches. Then quite a few folks there between say 4.5 and 5.5 inches. Areas like Park Rapids, Perham, Warren, Emmaville, North Minnesota, and Anglevale, North Dakota. They're rounding out this list at 4 o'clock. Now still seeing some snowfall in these areas, still falling. So we may still see some increased readings of snowfall there after this band of snowfall winds down. You can see cold air where the skies are clear. They're out toward Minot, so that cold air really working its way in after the clouds and these snow showers exit. But a closer look in, we will see most of that snowfall exiting out toward the east. I'm watching a little band of snowfall out far west, but not expecting too much in the way of additional accumulation from that. Most of that snowfall this hour is across into Minnesota. The area you see to the left of this black line is sub-zero, so 10 below right now in Devil's Lake. And of course, factoring the wind chills, 30 below that wind chill right now in the Devil's Lake area. So of course, we've got a wind chill warning until noon tomorrow for most of our counties. Wind chill advisory still for the north and off toward the south of our Minnesota counties. But Stacey, a lot to talk about, so we'll have all the details here in a few minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Nathan. And make sure you have that Valley News Live Storm Team weather app so you can keep up with the weather anytime, anywhere. You'll get the latest forecast and conditions so you can plan your day. Just search VNL Weather in the App Store and download it for free. A man convicted of killing 4 people in Mandan was sentenced today to multiple life prison terms without the possibility of parole. Chad Isaac received consecutive life terms for each of his 4 murder convictions. In August, a jury found Isaac guilty of killing 4 employees at RJR Maintenance and Management. The 4 were shot and stabbed in April 2019. Investigators say the victims were stabbed more than 100 times, calling it one of the most gruesome crimes in North Dakota history. Isaac, a chiropractor and Navy veteran, lived at a property that the company managed, but a motive for the killings was never established. The community rallied together today in an effort to raise money for the family of 7 who died in their Moorhead home from carbon monoxide poisoning. All of today's haircut proceeds collected at Moeller Barber College in Fargo, as well as tamale sales from La Unica Mexican Market, have been promised to the Hernando Pinta family in hopes to lay all 7 members to rest in their home country of Honduras. Both store owners say they will continue to collect money for the family throughout the rest of the week. In Los Angeles, LAPD has released video evidence from a police shooting that killed a 14-year-old girl. It happened at a department store as officers responded to reports that a man was assaulting people. Jonathan Vigliotti explains what happened, and we warn you, some of this video is disturbing.
Police body camera footage shows multiple LAPD officers arriving at this North Hollywood Burlington department store with their guns drawn after receiving calls of an assault and a possible shooting in progress.
Get out! There's a guy with a gun.
Moments before police arrived, surveillance video captured the suspect attacking multiple customers with what appeared to be a bicycle lock. The officers moved quickly to the second floor where they found 24-year-old suspect Daniel Elena Lopez near a woman he was beating with the lock.
Hey, she's bleeding. She's bleeding.
An officer then opens fire, killing Lopez. Unknown to all at the time, one shot pierced a wall behind the suspect and struck and killed 14-year-old Valentina Orellana Peralta, who was in a dressing room with her mother. Officers recovered the bicycle lock at the scene, but no gun was found on the suspect.
What exactly did the officer see, and why did the officer choose to fire his firearm?
Law enforcement expert Brian Higgins says there are more questions than answers right now.
The agency, I'm sure, is going to investigate how 3 shots were fired with a long weapon. Only one hit the suspect, and maybe one that missed hit the innocent victim.
LAPD Police Chief Michael Moore told our CBS affiliate KCBS that the use of deadly force is always the last resort. Jonathan Vigliotti, Los Angeles.
The officer who fired the rounds has been placed on paid administrative leave. About 24 sailors on a U.S. Navy warship have now tested positive for COVID-19. The USS Milwaukee has a crew of more than 100 and was forced to pause its deployment because of the outbreak. The defense official said the number of infected sailors is staying relatively constant at this point. The USS Milwaukee is the first Navy ship this year to have to interrupt its deployment at sea. President Biden says we now know enough about the Omicron variant to lift travel restrictions to South Africa. This comes one day after the CDC also updated its isolation guidance. But as Deborah Alfarone reports, concerns over a spike in cases and hours-long wait for testing continue in many parts of the country.
The White House announced it will lift travel restrictions this Friday on these 8 African nations, which were hit hard early by the Omicron variant. A new CDC report highlights a small study suggesting the highly contagious variant has an incubation period of around 3 days and causes less severe symptoms in those who've previously had COVID-19.
The virus is adapting. Omicron is different, very different from prior strains, and we need to adapt too.
This week, the CDC slashed the isolation period for those testing positive for COVID-19 from 10 to 5 days if you're no longer symptomatic. But you're required to wear a mask in public for at least 5 days.
You're most infectious a day or two before you get sick and for the first day or two after you've gotten sick. So it's a reasonable approach to keep our economy moving, save lives.
The airline industry pushed for the change with staffing shortages leading to several hundred more canceled flights. The president's chief medical advisor, Dr. Anthony Fauci, calls the updated CDC guidance a good choice. But the head of the flight attendants union disagrees, saying that it could lead to an unsafe work environment. Long lines also persist throughout the country for those seeking a COVID-19 test.
It makes you want to cry. You feel bad, and then you can't, you just can't get in anywhere.
Chicago public schools are asking students and staff to take a COVID-19 test before returning to classes next week. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, the White House.
The CDC had said Omicron accounted for more than 70% of cases nationwide last week, but today revised that number down to just under 60%. The variant remains the dominant strain, accounting for nearly 90% of cases in New York, New Jersey, and Texas. Get set to pay even more at the grocery store next year. Food prices overall are forecast to rise 5% in the first half of 2022. The maker of Oreo said it's hiking prices of cookies, candy, and other products by 6 to 7%. General Mills and Campbell's Soup also plan price increases for January. Kraft Heinz told retailers it'll raise prices, with some going up as much as 20%. However, Kraft says it won't be passing all of that on to customers. It's a battle for your blood, but it's not as scary as it sounds. The third annual Battle of the Badges blood drive between the West Fargo Fire and Police Departments is happening right now. The goal is to motivate the most people to donate blood. Donors choose which department they want their donation to go toward. The West Fargo Police Department has taken home the trophy the last 2 years in the friendly competition. That drive is happening at the Doubletree by Hilton until 6 tonight. Then again tomorrow from 11:30 to 6 and on Thursday from 9 to 1:30. To make an appointment, just go to vitalent.org. The countdown to 2022 is on, and the Fargo Public Library has several activities for kids to ring in the new year. While supplies last, you can get a New Year's Party to Go packet at any of the 3 Fargo Public Library locations. The Christmas Vacations Drive-In Movie Night returns tonight at 6 p.m. at the Downtown Library. Kids can build their own cardboard box sleigh, park it in the perfect spot, and then watch How the Grinch Stole Christmas. If your child is more hands-on, get those Legos out and create a masterpiece for the Lego Mania Design Contest. Build it at home and then bring it to the Downtown Library for judging on Thursday from 2 to 3. Prizes will be given out at 3:45. Temp work is finding a new urgency in the pandemic-induced labor shortage. Still ahead, how an app called InstaWork is connecting businesses to employees.
In Fargo, take a look at those temperatures down to about 19 below by 2 a.m. Wind chills even colder than that. Look at that wind northwest around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Then down in the Grand Forks area, we're cooling into those 20 below ranges. And with the cold we're expecting tonight, Wednesday's low temperature record is in jeopardy. Off your forecast next.